This is not Jesus. This is fake black Hebrew Israelite Jesus. This is on the same realm of ascended Master Jesus, the New Age Jesus, who is in the same realm of Islamic Jesus, all claiming to be Jesus, but all are false Jesuses. Yeah, Ty, look at his hair. It's like wool. The Father's hair has woolly texture. Yeshua, the Bible says his hair is white like wool, not like wool. Yeah, Revelation chapter 1 says his skin is dark. No, it doesn't. Book of Revelation says his feet were like fine brass, as if refined in a furnace. Greek word used here literally means orichalcum, fine metal, or frankincense of yellow color. Not black, but yellow color. If you want to know what orichalcum looks like, this is the color. Greek word used for refined simply means a glow. So imagine that glowing. Just like I've told you guys in the heaven experience that I've had. When I saw him, he wasn't black or white. Best way I could describe is if you take a bottle of olive oil in a clear glass and hold it up in the sun. Gives you that bright golden yellow color, like a sunset. That's how it was when I saw him. That's what the Bible obviously says. So he's not black or white. He's literally the color of Middle Eastern, many Middle Easterns. We like the same color and construct of Middle Eastern Arabs, because these are the cousins of the Jews. Ishmael, Isaac, literally the anointed one. And the black Hebrew Israelites, they're a cult. They worship skin color. Hit follow to stay updated. The deadline's in under 2 weeks. I'm doing a 3-day class on dream interpretation from the Bible, teaching how to discern God's voice and more. Click the link in my story or bio to join.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors to you other elders and brethren, you fellow believers of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So this would be a short video with this guy, Ty Jackson. I think it'll be short. It's kind of raw. You know, I saw the video. I was like, what? So we're just going to jump right on it. Revelation. You know, we're in the fight to reclaim his identity and his name back, right? Which has been stripped. Of course, I don't see in the video that is such an issue with the white Jesus. He did say that he would have looked Arab, which a lot of us look Arab too. So with the complexion, I don't know how this man claimed we're racist and he just made a racist video, right? I don't understand that. Arabs are darker than me. So where did he get that from? Arab just means mixture. There's a lot of our people look like them. But somehow he created a new race of olive complected. People are weird. We come in all, then that's the case, we come in olive complexion. But the case of the Messiah, no, it wasn't no such thing. Olives are, was it green or red? I guess. Yeah. All right, Revelation 1:15. We're going to show you how one word and how it's pronounced can change everything, and the scholars would see it that way. And of course, in the 1800s, when they wrote all this and they did their breakdowns, they weren't going to say, hell no, Jesus is black, so-called. Anyway, you know, the crazy thing is white people believe it. So-called white people know it. It says, and his feet was like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice was the sound of many waters. Now, well, let me get this. 1:14. 1:14. I got to bring this up. His hair and his hairs were white like wool. For some reason, Texas Receptus doesn't pull up. Oh, maybe I think I'm getting it now. This site is hard to pull up. So, the Wala Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, I was never able to pull it up until I start speaking. So now it pulls up. It's great. That's beautiful. So, Revelation 1:14, his head and his hairs were white, and the old text says likened to wool. So no, his hair wasn't wool, but it was likened to wool. Yes, a strike on that white Jesus, right? As white as snow. Just saying, he had white, snowy hair. Hair was white, very bright white, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. No, was his eyes fire? No. Was his hair snow? No. But this is all a description. Script writing, right? And his feet like unto fine brass. So we're going to get into that. Fine brass. When you look at all the translations, his feet like bronze glowing. As I said at camp Saturday, everybody wants their Jesus, right? Even the Satanists got their Jesus, right? That their savior. And he's red with the eyebrows that go up like Moabites or whatever. The Buddhists got their Jesus. The Hamites got their Jesus. Their Nimrods, and everybody got a Jesus. But we're the only people that was forced a Jesus on us, a savior on us, to look like that. And this man knows that the image of him doesn't look like that, right? But he has more of an issue with the black Jesus opposed to the white Jesus. I remember all those years in church. Nobody came to me and said his color didn't matter. They allowed us to believe that this Jesus was white. But now we're saying, well, he looks more like us. Here comes the damage control. This man might even be a damn Edomite. I know he's effeminate, but he might even be a damn Edomite. I don't know. He could be just a stubborn Jake. Right? So we see the NIV. It says his feet like bronze glowing in a furnace. How do you get burned, past tense, to glowing? How does that make sense? But here it says polished bronze. Will we understand what fine brass looks like? Refined. Most metals, when you refine them, they're dark until you polish them, and then they'll have a glow. So it is just saying that this man, the Messiah, was a dark man with a glow, right? An unusual dark complexion. So all this is saying. His feet like unto polished bronze, fine bronze. So we're going to go into what he looked up. This is what the scholar says: to burn, to set on fire, to inflame. No. It says burned, not to burn. It says burned, past tense. Right? I don't even know if I'm going to read all this. They also describe it as a passions of anger and everything else. Burning with fire. See this? The sense of burning with fire. Where did he get this stuff from? Where did he get that from? Let's go to Revelation 1. Fine brass, G1574. Fine brass. Like I said, I'll try to make this quick. When you look up Phinehas, the grandson of Aaron, son of Eleazar, I believe, could be wrong how I switched it. His name means the mouth of brass. So this is why even Boaz means his name means brazen pillows, right? Which were dark, right? So it says in mouth of brass. When you look up mouth of brass, it means Egyptian Negro. So this was the lineage. Job 30:30 says, my skin is black. So I don't know where the copper, new nationality of of olive come from. I don't know. I've seen olive oil and clear. I never seen anybody look like olive oil, but this is what he says. Anyway, so we go to the blue letter, right? Blue letter says burnished copper. This is what it says, burnished copper. So we go to burnished copper. This is what you'll mostly see, right? Burnished copper is what you'll mostly see. Now everybody have their interpretations of it, but we see here the majority of these pictures. Yeah, here we go with the glowing, the fire, because he had a glow. He just wasn't some ashy black Hamite. Glowing, burnished. See that? Burnished. I think we getting the point now. Where did he get this thing? Was copper is gold, or let me say brass. So then they made two different distinctions. Some translations say brass, some say copper. You know what I'm saying? So they have different ones. So you see here, you can't refute it. You can't refute it. Here go their Jesus. There we go. That's their Jesus. Anyway, continuing on. Burnished copper, right? So let's go into the John Wycliffe. Well, I hope it starts working again. This site is like really slow for some reason. And let's see what it says according to this Bible. Anyway, what I decided to do was it's still not opening up. So I went to the Bible study tools. They have a different interpretation on Revelation 1 and 15 from the original John Wycliffe. And Lord's will, that'll open up. Let me see if that opened up yet. Yeah, Revelation 1. Yeah, Revelation 1 and 15. It says, and his feet like unto lantern, as in a brennaged chimney, right? And when you go to brennaged, it means burnt. And this is what we read in Revelation 1 and 14 in the regular Bible, as polished brass, or let me say fine brass, which goes to refined, right? That's what fine brass is refined, as if they burned in a chimney, right? So when you look up fine brass, it's also going to give you those pictures as well. But this interpretation of the John Wycliffe, you see how it gets tampered with. But it says, and his feet like unto lantern. When you look at lantern, it's dark anyway. You can get a bottle of wine that says lantern. It's black. As his feet like to dross of gold, or lantern. You see what I'm saying? As in a burning chimney. I never said as a burning chimney, but let's say, okay, that's the case. But what did they put in here? His feet like unto dross. You know what dross is? The leftovers, the dirt, the dregs, the impure matter. And this is explaining it because of a chimney, right? It says burnage chimney, or it says as a flame. What does it say in Revelation 1 and 15? As it burn in a furnace. Same thing as a chimney. What happens when the chimney is burning and it gets burnt? It turns very dark. So I took the liberty to look up the dross. Let me see here. His burning chimney, his feet like a dross of gold. Right? So when we see the burnt dross after burning process typically appears as dark colored, often black, granular or powdery residue. So if you burn anything, right, and it comes to you get the dross, the leftovers of it, it will turn very dark. It would turn black, because that's why it says if it's burned in the past tense. But these scholars chase to say, hey, no, that's not the case. And then you look it up. You really think that they would really say, you know what, they got to keep the ideology of Jesus being white. That was the only way that would happen. Anyway, powdery residue. Right? And then they got pictures of here. And it's here you go right here. There you go. So it's not hard to figure it out, but we have to go into things sometime and see how they add things to it. As his feet like to dross of gold. Was it that would be the filtration system, right? And it says here, as if his feet like to find brass, but it says brass here. But even if it's brass or gold, whatever it is, but they had to put that gold in there. Fine brass. Let's look up what fine brass looks like. You know, of course, they're going to have their interpretation of what it looks like. But fine brass is really refined when you look it up. But you see some of these colors here. But, okay, so which one is true? Okay? So we know they had to know the truth in order to cover this lie up. Right? So if he was already a white man and it was appeared to he was even an olive complected man, would they have left it like it was? Or was this a greater, was this a greater situation or a conspiracy that we wouldn't know? I mean, after all, it was about taking our identity. So when you take your identity, we got to take everything that's with it. We can't have these people following white Jesus and following that custom and then keeping the same image up. How the hell would that make any sense? This guy here, Ty Jackson, is in error because he's still accepting modern day Christianity. He say those people over there are the real Jews and the people of God, when Deuteronomy 28:64 said we were scattered throughout the whole nations. How they all look alike? Yeah, some of our people are there. But this man is racist himself, right? Because he would debunk us and say, well, they are. So it seems like they're the only people that are allowed to say that they're the people of God. Yeah, this man just goes with what he sees because he may be one of them himself. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have on that. I try to keep this short. That's all I have on that. Shalom.